Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Accidents happen. Without the right coverage from the right insurance company, damage to your automobile can be a real financial hit. That's why Kentuckians appreciate the competitive rates and personal service they get from Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. When the unexpected happens, count on us to help you get back on the road. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
It's a good day.
Why is it a good day?
This is going to happen here and there through each month. It's a Tim day.
It's a Tim day.
Tim's here.
It's not my birthday, but it is.
What day does this come out of the week? What day of the week?
We're going to do these on Fridays. So this is
if
Friday.
it was Thursday, it could be Tim Thursday, but...
Oh, Timmy Thursday.
Timmy Friday.
Timmy Friday.
Do you know the best way to go into your weekend?
Thornberry Thursdays.
Oh! That's better. I liked it better.
Let's do that.
I have a great Timmy story.
Okay, ready.
My youngest son and I were at a fast food restaurant the other night. Mm-hmm. And you don't go to the counter anymore. You go to the kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so we're ordering on the kiosk, and then you put your name in there, and he's doing all this, and he puts Timmy.
Yeah, he does.
So we waited, and it was a long wait. We were waiting for like 30 minutes.
When the non-robot takes over, it started getting slow.
And then, so I went to the counter and told the young lady I had been waiting for 30 minutes, and she said, "What's the name on the order?" And I looked at my son and I said, "It's Timmy." And she sort of giggled. I guess she didn't think that a man my age would be referred to as Timmy. But you know, a lot of people call me that. My mother called me that.
Yeah.
That's my Timmy story.
Well, I liked it. I thought it was a great story. So, Timmy, where you been?
Where you
what have you been into?
What's been
I've been in West Kentucky this week.
Okay.
It's God's time.
It's a beautiful place down there. It wasn't too hot.
Right.
But they're in the middle of harvest. I mean, just everywhere you go, you see a puff of dust. Because it's so dry.
It is dry.
And those combines are going. I was coming home late the other night. I wanted to get home. That's just it. I'd been there 2 days, and I was ready to come home. And it was sunset, and I looked over to my left, and there's a combine with lights on and the sun going down, and they're moving on. And I said, I need to turn around and take a photo of that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't.
Oh,
no.
I felt horrible about it.
That could have been the cover shot.
Well, that's another story. But we already have a cover for October.
I get like a sneak peek at covers.
This is a good one?
Got a good one. We got a real good one coming up.
So. Do you think people know, besides when it's art, no offense, you're not painting the picture of Santa that was on there last year.
No.
But do you think people know you take most of those photos?
I think so. Our designer, Kelsey, she informed me at the last edition we put out that we needed to put something like that in there because I don't put my name on everything. I put my name on the down the back roads column.
Right.
Because it's a first person kind of thing,
Yeah.
So she said, we need to make a note that unless it's otherwise specified, that you're the one taking the pictures and writing the copy. And I said, well, I don't really want to do that, but we did because she's writing quite a bit for the magazine. So I've insisted that she put her name on it. So.
Well, good job, Kelsey.
So she insisted that we do the same thing for me. So yes, but I don't know that people know that.
Well, I think they don't because when I connect you with a farmer and they end up being the cover photo, they're like, when he was taking photos that day, I didn't know there was a chance I was on the front. And I say, yeah, and they were like, man, he takes those. So they kind of see that as an elevated photo type. So
I'm the guy, man.
The
I'm the
man.
dude. Yeah,
Tim is a one-man wrecking crew and this kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Well, I've been doing it a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time.
So West Kentucky, why the heck were you in West Kentucky?
Well, a few things. First off, I wanted to get some harvest photos.
Right.
I'm always looking for planting, harvest, hay, cattle, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Like to have those on hand because we'll use them. As a matter of fact, I have a stockpile of photos that I've been saving and taken for 30 years. And so I have a lot of those. And you never know when you're going to go back and find something that maybe you didn't use, or it's been a long time that you used it and it's relevant for a particular story or something that just looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a cool guy.
You're very cool. You're very cool. So today you have a pretty interesting story to tell us. What is who did you
Which one do you want me to tell you about?
Yeah, Terry. You told us a little bit about.
Sure.
Yeah. What is this story about, and kind of what's your angle? What's your purpose of telling this story?
I was notified a few weeks ago about an organization called Farm Rescue, and they are a nonprofit. And basically what they do, they work in about 10 states, and Kentucky is now their 10th state that they go into with volunteers. When a farmer has maybe had an accident and injured and can't be in a combine right now during harvest, they'll get volunteers to show up at that farm and do it for him.
Wow.
If he's sick, if he's for whatever reason.
Right.
Planting, the same thing. Whatever, it's not a specific time of year. It is any time that a farm family needs some help and reaches out to their organization, they will send volunteers there to do that work for them.
That is really neat. That's right.
It is really amazing what they do and how they do it. The volunteers come from all over the country. They may be in 10 states right now where they're operating, but these volunteers will come from everywhere.
Wow.
And I think the number varies because a lot of them have been doing it. This organization has been around for 20 years. So a lot of them have been doing it, and maybe they've retired, and then new ones come on. But anywhere between 300 and 400 volunteers that will come from who knows where to help out. You know why? Because that's what farm folks do.
Right.
They're all family, no matter where they're from.
Right.
And they all understand. There's been times when probably most of them have needed a little help.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Terry is the Farm Rescue's Manager of Industry Engagement, is what his title is. But he's a great guy. I've only met him over the phone, but I can tell that his heart is in this. And we did a Q&A column that will be coming up in our October issue with him.
Excellent.
And also a podcast.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be really good. So I don't think we should hold him back from the conversation any further. All right, I'm Renee Carrico.
I'm Matt Hilton.
I'm Tim Thornberry.
Let's get rural.
Let's first start out. Let's talk about Farm Rescue. What is it? How long has it been around? The history? Anything that you want to share with our listeners and our readers? Tell me a little bit about this organization.
Yeah, sure can, Tim. So Farm Rescue is a volunteer-based nonprofit organization that was founded back in 2005. It was founded by Bill Gross, a North Dakota farm kid who wasn't able to go back to the farm, but later in his career wanted to figure out a way to give back to family farms going through a tough time. And so he began it initially just helping a family or two with a borrowed tractor and planter from the local John Deere dealer. And from there, it has grown 20 years later into serving 10 states now. We've been very blessed to serve just over 1,200 families in that time.
Great, Terry. And this is you have volunteers. Is that correct? That offer their time to go to all these different places to help these different families. Is that correct?
That is a true statement. So we help families for a lot of different reasons. It might be a health issue. It might be an injury, some type of a natural disaster, maybe a tornado or flood or drought, wildfire. So when that happens, our volunteers come in, sometimes with equipment, sometimes we use the family's equipment, and we can help them with different things. Planting is one of those. We do a lot of that. Harvest, also baling hay. And also hauling hay. We've hauled hay into a lot of situations after floods or blizzards or wildfires where the ranchers, farmers are in need of feed supplies, and so we round up volunteers and donated hay and haul in on those situations. So our volunteers are the key for our success. We've got several hundred of them from all over the United States that are willing to come in and serve when these families need us.
Terry, that's a monumental undertaking. It sounds like because some of the farms out here in Kentucky. This is new to Kentucky. I want to go there first. You guys are just getting here in this state. Is that correct?
That is correct. As of July 1st, we have formed some partnerships in Kentucky. One of those being with Heaven Hill Distillery, and so we have, as part of their national partnership, we have agreed also to serve farm and ranch families, of course, in Kentucky. And so we are presently, at this time, searching for families that might be in need of harvest help this fall.
How do you find those families? Terry, I know our farmers are great. They're also a proud bunch and sometimes a little hesitant to ask for help. How does Farm Rescue connect with the farm family that needs that support?
Yeah, that's very true. And so we do that a lot of ways. Of course, folks like yourself, a grassroots organization that has great communication and membership loyalty from your members. So the word spreads throughout a network. And generally speaking, I would say most of our families that we help come from a referral. Maybe it's a family member, somebody in their community. Maybe it's their Farm Bureau rep or their seed salesperson or the local John Deere dealer, something like that. Will let us know, and we'll reach out to that family and just see if we can help. And if so, would they be willing to let us help? So that's probably the main way that we learn. People can easily get a hold of us. They can go to our website. It's farmrescue.org and fill out an application or refer a family or simply call us. We don't ever want to miss helping a family that needs help because they don't know about us or, as you say, are a little shy or too proud to ask.
Terry, does any of this surprise you that, and I know the answer to this, but does any of it surprise you when it comes to the many volunteers that you have that are willing, and often, probably more likely than not, these folks have farms of their own, and they're giving up time on their farm to help others. That doesn't surprise you at all, does it?
It does not at all. So Farm Rescue was based on exactly the premise of neighbor helping neighbor. In this case, the neighbors maybe just live a little bit farther away, but many of our volunteers are current or retired farmers. We have a lot of other retired professionals. Maybe they work for John Deere or one of our other partner sponsor companies. But folks from all walks of life, that are experienced with farm machinery and all that kind of thing, and so they are a wonderful bunch. I would love for anybody to ever meet our volunteers. They are the most compassionate, caring folks. They want to do a good job for that family. They know it means everything to them. It's their livelihood, and if we're not helping enough people, they're calling us saying, "Hey, how can we help? Have you got any families lined up for us to come serve?" And they'll come all the way from North Carolina, California, Florida, and of course all over the Midwest to help these families when they're going through a tough time.
Terry, you mentioned partnerships. I would say that those are extremely important. I've been on your website and I've seen how many you have, and it was way too many for me to count. And obviously you've been here and talked to the folks at Kentucky Farm Bureau. How valuable are those partnerships in helping to make Farm Rescue a success?
Well, to define the success of farm rescue is for us to help more families. That's our number one goal, Tim. Of course, in order to do that, it takes money. But number one is getting the word out that we're here, that we can help, and that's goal one. And then goal two is to pay for our equipment, machinery costs. Of course, we house and feed our volunteers if they allow us. Some do not, but it takes a lot of money to keep that operation going. But as you mentioned, we have been blessed for 20 years with folks willing to step up and support family farms, support Farm Rescue's mission, and anybody that would like to help with that, they can certainly get a hold of me. Of course, go to our website, farmrescue.org. There's a place there, of course, to give or sign up as a volunteer. But yeah, it is critical to our mission for sure.
Terry, you told me earlier, and forgive me if I didn't write this down, to let me know, how many volunteers do you have right now?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a moving target because we have new ones coming on at all times, and of course, folks that retire off as they get up in age. But several hundred, would be certainly an accurate count. Maybe in the 300 to 400. It just varies, inactive versus active, and of course, some of our volunteers are ready, willing, and able to help with the farm equipment and operations and livestock feeding, and others just like to come along to trade shows or show up at maybe the annual Farm Bureau meeting and tell people about farm rescue and their experience with farm rescue. So it takes all kinds, and we'd love to have the help.
Now, you said you're in 10 states, but you've got volunteers from all over the country, correct?
That's true. Documented, I believe, 49 states. I think maybe we're missing Delaware, but we have had volunteers from almost every state in the United States. That's absolutely correct.
Wow. Well, maybe we can get Delaware to hear our podcast or read our article and come on board, because I'm sure there's a lot of great farm volunteers in that state as there are everywhere. Terry, you mentioned the word family a while ago. No matter where you go, farmers are a collective family. No matter what they raise, where they do it, they all face some of the same challenges as each other. So that's probably something that you've noticed over the 20 years, that how big of a family this really is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've traveled all over the United States, North America, South America, Europe, and when you meet farmers, they are all friendly, they're all curious, they're all independent, and they all suffer, some of the same struggles. Of course, weather is our number one foe. We all deal with that anywhere. It doesn't matter whether we're producing field peas or tobacco or soybeans or corn or wheat, whatever it is. And of course, the price is never as good as it should be, with the exception of a few years, as we all know. Good help is hard to find. So it's the same struggle anywhere you go. And so we're just happy to be able to help with what we can help with, keep that family in business. As you know, about anywhere you go, 95+% of the farms and ranches are owned by families, and when they get in a pinch, there's no paid time off or extra help or somebody to step in. And so that's where we like to come in. We know neighbors like to help, and we certainly never discourage that. We'll gladly come in alongside the neighbors and help get that crop in or get it out, feed the livestock, bale the hay, whatever it takes to make sure they get through that rough period and come out the other side and be able to continue that legacy.
Terry, so often we think about springtime being the time to plant, fall being the time to harvest, but farming is far from being a two-time-a-year thing. It's all year long, and I would assume that you have seen volunteers go out every month of the year. I would estimate somewhere, somehow, someplace, they're helping somebody, not just during these busiest times, but all of those busiest times. Is that correct?
Oh, that is true. In 2019, we had a big flood in the Missouri Valley, destroyed a lot of feed and so forth. So we hauled a lot of hay, to folks in that part of the world. A year ago, February, March, April, there were some big wildfires in Nebraska and Texas, Oklahoma, and we hauled, probably for 2 months, we hauled hundreds of big round bales, donated hay to those areas, to those farm and ranch families that needed it. 2 winters ago was really severe up in the plains, and there were some ranchers that had super heavy snowfall, and they had hay, but it was buried, and they could not get to it to feed their livestock. So we rounded up some volunteers and fueled up our trucks and got a bunch of donated hay and hauled it up to those areas in the dead of winter. So yeah, we're with Mother Nature and other things, it seems like we're always at the ready to help folks if they need it.
Terry, you mentioned 20 years. Obviously, that's a career for a lot of people, but I suspect you guys are going to keep going as long as you can keep going. 10 states, do you want to expand, get to all 50 of them maybe?
Well, I don't know about all 50, but certainly, your row crop, small grains, livestock, producing states. We're currently in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Illinois, Wisconsin, and now Kentucky. But yes, absolutely, we would love to move on into Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, wherever we can go, where we have expertise and the availability of equipment and so forth to help these families. So that's a matter of course, bringing on partners so that we can fund that. Also help get the word out in those states. And of course, we need to add staff as we do that. We have a very small staff of only 7 folks right now, so we are going to need to increase that as well. But yes, like I said, our number one goal is to help more families. Right now, we're going to focus on the 10 states we're in, but more states are on our radar, and there's always folks coming to us with inquiries. And so we want to continue on, God willing, another 20 years and beyond.
Terry, this is another thing. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it, but how does it make you feel when you finish up with helping with somebody and they react to you, they talk to you? I'm sure that they are so very thankful. How does that make you guys feel, your volunteers, your staff, when you know that you've really accomplished your mission? Yeah.
Well, so most of us are former farm kids or still have family farms involvement or at least come from a rural community. We know the good feeling of our own of accomplishment and, of course, relief to get that crop in or out, or the livestock taken care of. It's your livelihood, it's your life. And so it's a great satisfaction and personal passion for each of us, including all of our volunteers, to come alongside that family and make sure that they are taken care of when they're really just not able to, probably their darkest hour. And I can tell you, many of them have said, maybe even hesitating at first to accept the help, how much better they sleep at night and how good they feel, and how much it helps them with their recovery of whatever they're recovering from, to know, that they don't have to worry about their livelihood for that year. It is looked after, and that's huge for us.
And Terry, I think it's important to let people know, one of the messages that we are always talking about is how vital these farms are. We need our farms to stay in business, to feed us, not only to feed the people of this country, but around the world. Agriculture is so important. And so I guess that, that's a message that you guys stress too, that this helps these farmers when they're in need stay in business. And that really affects us all in one way or the other. Is that a good assumption?
It is. It's funny you mentioned that. We had received several inquiries, and of course, when you apply for grants or funding from foundations, they absolutely want an ROI. They want to know what's the upside, what's the return on investment. And so we were curious ourselves. We know we helped that individual family. I think over 97% of the farms we've helped are still in business over these years. And so we hired an economic firm to do an economic impact study. One of the families we helped with harvest in central Iowa a couple of years ago. And as it turns out, from the value of the crop and for what we spend to get our volunteers there and while they're there on food and fuel and hotel rooms and then what that family potentially will buy and spend in that community, stay in the church, the school, the grocery store. It's $10 for every dollar that Farm Rescue invests in helping a family through a crisis, and that's just 1 year. So I think that year, in fact, that economic impact studies published. I'm going by memory, but I think we spent somewhere around $2.7 or $2.9 million that year in several states, helping those families. So that turns into $30 million in those communities, both direct and indirect. And so it does matter. What we're doing, to help 1,220 families in 20 years is a huge impact, not only on those families, but the communities that they live and work in.
Wow, what an impact you guys are making. That's really amazing. And when you start looking at it in facts and figures and everything, just certainly something that is part of the overall picture when it comes to keeping our farms sustainable. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. We want to keep those families in those communities and keep them in business for sure. And it's important to all of us. We all come from rural and small towns, and we know how vital it is to keep those folks there. We want to keep those churches and schools and businesses alive and well, and people living in those houses in those small communities. Agriculture is obviously a huge part of the economy in any country in the world, and it's no different here. And we're just really happy to be part of that. And we love to say that we're supporting family farms and ranches, and that's what we do.
Certainly glad you're here in Kentucky. You said Heaven Hill's a big sponsor. That is one of those value added. They depend on farmers like a lot of other businesses do. So it's got to be exciting for you to expand here in this state and to see all that you can do here. And if I understand correctly, you already have volunteers here. Is that correct?
We have a few volunteers. We certainly would take more. But you're right about Heaven Hill. They just have a passion for family farms. They, of course, get their grain and inputs from family farms, and they've built a whole program around that. From Max Shapiro, one of the members of the founding family, and so they want to give back to family farms, and this is the reason, big reason that they wanted to partner with Farm Rescue is as we just were talking about, keep those farms in those communities so they can buy good quality products from them to put into their various products, whiskeys and bourbons and so forth. And they've even brought forth this grain to glass whiskey that is specifically focused around family farms, and they partnered with a family-owned seed company, Beck's, and a local family farm, Tradition Farms, to produce the grain, and so it's just all a part of just a big vision and mission for them, and we can't say enough about that. And we've been welcomed with open arms in Kentucky. We've had some great conversations with some folks there, and we're really looking forward to building more partnerships there. And we're even planning on coming down and hanging out at the National Farm Machinery Show, and any way we can connect with folks, we're excited and looking forward to it.
Well, let me tell you what, you're going to see a lot of people at that National Farm Machinery Show. I'm sure you're very familiar with that. So it's a great place to connect for sure. Terry, let's get some contact information out there for our listeners and our readers. If they're interested, if they want to help, whether it's volunteer, whether they need help, whether they just need more information, where do they go? Who do they call? Who do they talk to? What do they do?
Well, the simplest answer to that is to go to our website. It's www.farmrescue.org, and they can do any of those things there. They can volunteer, apply for assistance, refer a family, donate. So that's the place to go. If they're social media folks, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Those are great ways to follow, keep up with what Farm Rescue's doing, maybe some of the families we're helping, and of course they can reshare that information. That's huge for us, to help get the word out. And so that is the best thing to do, is go there for sure. Great.
Our guest today has been Terry Johnston with Farm Rescue. Terry, thank you so much. Appreciate everything, and we'll continue to follow this. We'll keep up with it. You keep up with us, and we'll connect more than once. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be in touch, and hopefully down your way soon. Maybe even in October. So
sounds great, Terry. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.